Sponsored by Squarespace. It's the end of the year again. As per tradition, let's take a look at the best Chinese language films of 2024. This time, we're expanding our scope, covering not only mainland China, but also films from Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Malaysia, one film per region. From thrilling suspense to brutal action, from heartbreaking drama to satirical humor, these 4 films are not only well-made, but culturally and socially relevant. So sit back as we introduce to you the best 2024 Chinese language films. Originally released in 2023, The Pig, the Snake and the Pigeon is a crime thriller from Taiwan. Initially a box office disappointment, when it arrived in mainland theater earlier this year, the film quickly became a viral sensation. In the film, a young gangster is diagnosed with terminal cancer. Facing his own mortality, the young man decides to do something big. The rest of the film is a thrilling manhunt in which he stalks and eventually kills the 2 most notorious criminals in Taiwan. It's a straightforward plot, but also an engaging one. As an example, in this scene, the young man stalks a triad leader. When the lackeys react to the store signs turning off, he takes note, and so do we. The next night, when the young man goes in for the kill, we have a clear objective. Do not let him turn on the lights. With the rules of the game clearly laid out, the film is almost Hitchcockian. I found myself holding my breath many times throughout the film. As the suspense builds to a breaking point, the young man pulls the trigger. The sudden release of pressure and the violent enforcement of justice is shocking yet satisfying. Online, there is much debate on why the film is so successful in mainland China. This BBC article suggests that the film appeals to mainland filmgoers' need for emotional release, as violent films are rare in mainland cinema. Outside of its shock factor, as the review claims, the film is just average, which is why it didn't do well in Taiwan. A part of me sees where this perception comes from. It is a very simple plot with cliché moments. The second half of the film is very predictable, deflating any suspense it tries to build. Yet, I live in Canada with no shortage of violent media. And for weeks after I saw the movie, it stayed with me all the same. To me, it's not the violence that's memorable, it's the enigmatic lead character. The young man is paradoxically a violent criminal and a kind-hearted gentleman. You can see him care for children, being very polite to bystanders, and are willing to give people their second chances. Sure, he is killing people, but he's killing other killers. Taiwan has the death penalty. The young man is doing what the government is supposed to be doing. The existence of this young man poses a question. In between the law and morality, do you follow the law or do you follow your judgment? In other words, The Pig, the Snake and the Pigeon has only gotten better recently. Now, it may be the best time to experience this film. If your Christmas wish is for Santa to give you a convenient and wide-reaching method of advertising your business as a film critic, firstly, let's be friends, clearly we have the same personality. Secondly, I am your Asian Santa, and my gift is Squarespace. Think about it. Compared to social media, a website is accessible anywhere, requires no account, and can be designed to your exact needs. Having a website also increases consumer confidence, it boosts your legitimacy. With all of that advantage, all you need to do is to pick a template and edit it to your liking. Squarespace has tutorials on every detail, including search engine optimization and taxes, maximizing your chance of success. Start a free trial at squarespace.com/accentthecinema, use the code accentthecinema, and you can get 10% off your first purchase. A new year, a new beginning is the best time for a new website. Visit squarespace.com/accidentalcinema and get started today. From the director of SPL2, Limbo, and Mad Fate comes another viral hit. Based on a novel and a manhwa, Twilight of the Warriors is a nail-biting action film that takes the genre in a new direction. Set in the 80s, the film follows the life of a refugee stranded inside the infamous Kowloon War City. Surviving on the goodwill of the people, many of whom are gang members, the refugee finds himself entangled in criminal affairs and has no choice but to fight. Packed with brutal action, the film is well choreographed but raw and dirty. Like a hammer to the face kind of dirty. It's Hong Kong martial arts, but not presented like a kung fu movie. Instead, its neo-noir aesthetic breathes new life into an old formula. Every fight hurts to look at. The lack of grace in this organized chaos is the perfect style for the setting. Indeed, the film's central appeal isn't the story and not even the action. It is the amazing set design, faithfully recreating the aesthetic of Kowloon War City. The set is so well done, there's talk on maintaining it as a tourist attraction. Look at those dilapidated walls, decorated with a mess of cables. Look at that hole with exposed rebars. The lack of privacy when living in this fortress is conveyed in just a single shot. It's a feast to the eyes. But here lies its one weakness. To filmgoers who value stories, this film is just so-so. Even to action fans, the movie is merely good. The main villain symbolizes this flaw well. His maniacal laughter is cliché, and his surprise superpower is honestly kinda dumb. I gave this film high praise because I know how films are made. I can see the dedication in details. It's a film for cinephiles. With its nostalgic look at the past, some may see this film as one last hurrah from the Hong Kong action film genre. To me, however, the production is a call to action. It proves that Hong Kong remains capable of producing sophisticated films, and the new action aesthetic shows that Hong Kong not only can still fight, but can still innovate. If this is what's to come, I am excited. Avant-Garde is, without debate, the most critically acclaimed film in this video. Premiered in late 2023, this Malaysian social drama tells a gut-wrenching story about two orphans who called each other brothers. Without a family or a registered identity, these two fell into the gaps of the legal system. They cannot open a bank account, cannot hold full-time jobs, and are forced to live in poverty. The younger brother resorted to crime, hoping they can afford a better life. But things only got worse when an unexpected tragedy happens. I'm summarizing this as vaguely as possible, as spoiling even the inciting incident is a disservice. Trust me, when it happens, your soul is gonna feel it. Luckily, I can introduce the film's mood, because Avant-Garde is one of the most depressing movies I've seen in years. You see, most of the movie is dead quiet, often with no music or dialogue. It's slow and emotionally numbing, replicating the hollowing experience of poverty where life seems without meaning, without hope, and without a future. The two brothers' favorite food is boiled eggs. Simple, bland, and consumed for sustenance, they cannot afford flavor for their food or their lives. And so, the film is presented without flavor. That silence is felt by the characters and by the audience. It's show don't tell, done to perfection. Through the unique identity of the brothers, the film explores the hidden complexity in the lives of undocumented residents and exposes the hostility of the law. Instead of helping those in need, law enforcement is shown to be the government's way to bully those who are vulnerable. The only way to change the government is to vote. Yet, in this Kafkaesque nightmare, the most affected are the ones who can vote at all. It's depressing, it's frustrating, and at times, it is disturbing. This is not a movie for everyone, but if you are someone who enjoys challenging films, this is a very worthwhile movie to dive into. "2024 has been a good year for Chinese comedies. I can go with YOLO or Successor, but at the end, my pick goes to Johnny Keep Walking, a satirical comedy about corporate culture. Stay with me, this is good, I promise." Premiered in late 2023, Johnny Keep Walking centers on the life of a mediocre factory worker. Thanks to a processing error, the worker is transferred to the headquarters. Even though he knows nothing about office work, the man keeps accidentally tumbling up the corporate ladder. In this scene, for example, he tries to be a responsible worker in the HR department, so he familiarizes himself with everyone's files.
张小强，21岁，销售部3组实习生。
Everyone, however, thinks he's assessing them for potential layoffs. The worker quickly becomes the most feared person in the entire company.
这样的态度不代表人力资源中心的看法。
那我不会被裁了吧？
也不是，您还是有可能被裁。
The film delivers gags like this non-stop. Here's another example. In the film, the higher someone's position is, the more English the name becomes. Our protagonist uses his Chinese name. Above him is Magic, and then Peter, Thomas, and finally George. The names get harder and harder for a Chinese person to pronounce. What made the joke work is that it is told without exaggeration. It is just an observation of reality, but it also points out the internalized racist perception that being Chinese is somehow not cool. It mocks the insecurity of the privileged and the juvenile game they played. Not everything is a joke though. When the film lightly brushed on the topic of workplace harassment, it is handled smartly and seriously. And when there is a moment of emotional vulnerability, the emotion remains genuine.
我跟你们在一起的时间996那么长，咱得是朋友啊。
A good joke requires good timing, and this film nails that too. It mocks the incompetence of corporate leaders. It offers a gratifying experience of seeing the little guy win. Johnny Keep Walking is a great satire and an even better emotional outlet. It's what working class China wanted and needed. But the depiction of Chinese work culture is also broadly relevant to much of the world. As the film puts it, this is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual events is entirely cautionary. For this reason, I think this is the mainland film most worthy of your attention this year. The best thing about this list is that all of these films are successful without emulating the Hollywood blockbuster aesthetic. For a few years now, the Chinese audience and arguably much of the world are experiencing Hollywood fatigue. Films as products have lost their appeals, and in its place are films like these. These films are set in their regions of origin, are about issues faced by local people. There are things to say, sincerely or sarcastically, and their voices resonate. It's good to see film as art, and it's even better to see people enjoying it. See you in 2025.